All right, welcome back to another Wright podcast. I am Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright, and we made it to Friday, my favorite day. And we got Paulie pimping the California cool sunglasses. Just gave me a little insight into the Waymo ride. What was your thoughts? Do you feel safe? Did you feel like you stepped into the future, back into the future?
It was. I'm pretty progressive when it comes to technology. I like to try new things and test it out and that sort of thing.
You're an early adopter.
Early adopter. I was not nervous going in. I've seen them. So I'm in San Francisco. I've seen them kind of scooting around, and so clearly they look like they're doing pretty well. And so I haven't seen anything bump into anything. They are also Jaguars, so they're nice cars. So it's all app based like everything else. So put my credit card in. Said here I am. Bluetooth locates you, so it drives right up to you based on where your phone is. Then each car has like a little code, almost like you're going to McDonald's for the app. Your code pops up on top. There's like a little light. It tells you what letter it is. You push a button, unlock doors. Doors pop open. You get in. There's nobody else in there. It gives you some safety to, hey, buckle up. Don't touch the wheel, all that sort of thing. And then it just drives like a normal human being would. Probably better, honestly. Probably better.
How long were you in it? How far did you go?
It was just a little over a mile. So I was going after, I've been craving like a burger and garlic fries. So I went to some place called Super Duper. It's very similar to like a Shake Shack, I think, or kind of along those lines. But good, really good burger, good garlic fries. Got a chocolate shake because I like chocolate shakes. So I walked there. I knew I had to get back because Brian's got to get to bed on the East Coast. And I said, you know what? Brian's been wanting me to do this. Let's hop in this Waymo. So I did the app while I was waiting for my food. And man, it rode. I mean, it's a Jaguar again. It's super smooth ride. The wheels just up there spinning, moving left and right, just like a normal, like a ghost is driving almost. It was
dude, that's freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. Hey, so sports news, kind of a big story that we hadn't really talked about that they got a chance to do. The Wolfpack of NC State got a chance to win the ACC regular season since the first time since like 1987.
Oh, wow.
And they've got to, obviously, some work to be done. North Carolina actually helped us tonight, last night, however you want to see this, whenever you're watching this, right? And so,
yeah.
So it is. They won, beat the Noles, and then the Wolfpack got Stanford. If the Pack sweeps Stanford, I think it's in the bag. It's at least split. I don't think we played Florida State this year. It's not even scheduling anymore.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many teams. You would play 45 conference games as everybody, played each other.
Yeah.
Or something close to it. And so it's one of those things where
that's exciting. That's a long time since they won the regular season.
Yeah, it's glory days.
That's incredible, man. So just got to beat Stanford. Their old rival Stanford of the ACC. And actually, you know what? It's down here. I should stick around for a couple more days and watch the Pack.
Well, they're at home, so
okay.
Stanford is a huge. It feels like right now you don't see this often, but at least with NC State this year, particularly, much better record at home than on the road. And I'm not real sure, or even neutral sites. It really feels like there's a huge comfort level with playing at home.
Well, I tell you, Brian, after having done the first leg of a cross-country flight, and I'll be flying the other half later on, that's a day, man. Like so my flight home, I'm leaving San Francisco at 9 a.m. I'm getting home at 5. I mean, you lose 3 hours, but I'm getting home at 5:30. That's when it lands.
Essentially a day.
I mean, so for those teams to have to go coast to coast like that, it's a commitment, man. And then you've gone coast to coast like that. That timing, your sleep.
Well, not as much, and
Yeah.
and I know this. Usually, it's for fun or for business, and if it's for fun, you find the energy, right? And I guess for games, you can look at it that way. But I can imagine, like, I noticed in pro baseball, one of the things I did notice was playing every day and not having that day off or that you get in college baseball. I definitely noticed the bat felt heavier when you were playing every day.
Yeah.
There were less days that you felt good. And so I feel like California, Stanford, those teams, there's a real disadvantage to having to fly across country as often as they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, exciting times for the Wolfpack. Another local story for the Raleigh area. The Carolina Hurricanes have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. Took care of business against the Washington Capitals. So congratulations to our hometown Hurricanes. That's a big win over there. Brian, one thing that popped up on the feed said, did you see the news about Rafi Furcal?
I did, unfortunately. I mean, obviously there's some details to that I'm not privy to or haven't seen. I've just seen the headline where he got arrested for domestic violence. Basically, had a weapon too, or at least a domestic.
Wait, it said,
yeah.
Let me read this. This is a little blurb from the ESPN article. Former Major League shortstop Rafael Furcal is facing felony charges in South Florida. The former All-Star turned himself in at Broward County Jail Wednesday and was released on bail a short time later, according to court records. Here's the part that's interesting, Brian. He's charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and throwing a missile into a public or private dwelling or vehicle. Throwing a missile, Brian, into a public or private dwelling or vehicle.
He had a great arm. He had a great arm.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't think missiles are legal to own. Like I'm big, Second Amendment type people, but I don't think missiles.
Think that's the right to bear arms. I don't think that's a missile. I think that's like a gun. I don't think that's a. Do they mean like an actual missile, like that goes on an airplane? Because that's got to be like 1,000 pounds, right? I don't. Or
maybe
is a projectile is like a firework. Is a firework considered a missile?
I would imagine they're small. I don't know. There's got to be some clarity to that. I don't know. It feels like it may be an overcharge, or maybe an undercharge. If you're throwing missiles in cars, there may be something to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, great arm back in the day. A missile for an arm, right? Throwing missiles across the infield, but that takes it to a whole nother level. That's insanity.
It'd be curious when the details actually come out, and I'll be, you always wonder, right? I think for any professional athlete, that transition after you get done playing is tough. But for somebody, I think you did it for 10 years, but you were still young enough to and motivated enough and had to go find another place, another way to go.
Rafael played in the big leagues for like 15 years. He doesn't have to do. He can just go throw missiles at people. Is what he can do.
He can throw missiles in cars, and
he made enough money. Yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
You wonder what I mean, you got to fill your time somehow, and throwing missiles in cars is not probably the most productive. I'm
really curious to see like how this shakes out. Like, if is it a road rage situation where I don't know.
Which seems possible down there.
He's like, I know how to get this guy. I got my missile. I've been waiting for this. I'm gonna watch out. Yeah,
I've been trying to do better. Road rage. There's some bad drivers. Let's talk about that. Do you feel like you feel pretty laid back, pretty cool? Yeah, I know you went through a spell with your car. It feels like you're getting in a number of different accidents that weren't your fault.
People were running into me. I was not running into.
Yeah. That's right. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't your fault. Do you feel that frustration with bad drivers, or do you just let it roll off at this point, Paul?
As a 46-year-old, I'm much more defensive and on the alert now than I was 5, 10, 15 years ago, I think. I ride with my daughters, and I see that they are not as My second one, I rode with her that we almost got into like 2 wrecks before we got like a mile out of the driveway. And her thing is always like, there was one time we were turning right. She had the right of way, but somebody else was coming across the other way, so they're kind of merging at the same time and into one lane. And she's like, "Well, I had the right of way." I was like, "Yeah, but you clearly saw that person coming. Like, just let them go."
Right. It doesn't matter that much.
And that's she said this several. She's like, "Well, if they run into me, it's their fault." I mean, yes, it is, but like I've got to pay for that. So don't.
Well, yeah, or at least time, right? I think the thing that I definitely still get frustrated and still
Oh yeah, it's still
like to
frustrating.
give a little verbal. I think it definitely is a stress relief for me to yell just my car. I'm not getting into any conflict. I'm going to avoid them. I'm going to call them idiots and morons and those things just to make
Depending on
myself
who's in the car, right? I mean,
but but I'm not. I'm not a gesture guy. I've had a couple of times here and there where somebody's yelled at me. I'll yell back at them, but that's the max of my interactions. So but it is interesting as Raleigh has grown. There's much more people from all over, and we get accused of not being able to drive and like bad snow and that sort of thing, especially with so many people from up north come down. But I'm convinced that the actual worst drivers are from up north, and they just come down here and just make the whole reputation bad.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like I'm a 5 to 7 miles an hour over the speed limit kind of guy at this point.
Yeah,
probably was like a 10 to 12, earlier in my life. But when the guys or girls buzz by like at 100 miles an hour, like there's always like, man, I just wish there's a cop around the corner. I mean, that's that kind of thing. And like once out of every 200 times there is, but
well, I'm big on the left lane is for passing. I am that. I do feel like there's some failure in that. But when you're going 100, it's dangerous. And again, not to go down the get off my lawn, we're old, but like the motorcycles, dude, that's out of control. I've seen so many motorcycles going like 130, they have to be because it looks like a streak, and I'm going 78 and a 70, and they're just like, woo.
I know. What about, so occasionally this happens, and this does frustrate me. It gets me upset. You're driving in the left lane and you're going like low 80s ish. You're still passing people, but somebody comes up right up on your butt and they start flashing their lights at you.
I don't have that. I'll get over if I see somebody, even if I'm going way over.
I'm like, dude, you clearly see me moving fast enough to give me like 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, I haven't. Yeah, the flashing of the lights is an aggressive move. It's an aggressive move.
That's too much.
You slow down at that point.
I've leveled out at some points and made them go around me. Like it's yeah. Because again, like I'm not in the left lane going like 60. I'm clearly passing people, but I'm just not passing it at the rate that they would like. And it's like, dude, you're doing like 95, 100. Like
yeah.
Let me jump back. So this weekend, Major League Baseball is promoting Rivalry Weekend. Have you seen this?
I have not.
So they're promoting Rivalry. So let me give you. It's a lot of in-state. So like, it's not Yankees Red Sox. It's Yankees Mets.
Makes sense.
Right? Cubs White Sox.
Makes sense.
Guardians Reds. Both teams in Ohio.
Yep.
Nationals Orioles. The belt line up there. Tigers Blue Jays. They're right across the.
It is. Yeah.
Rays Marlins. Your two Florida teams.
Nobody's gonna be at those games.
Nope. Cardinals Royals. Your battle of Missouri.
That feels. Hang on, let's hold on that one just a second. That feels like that should be like a packed house, man. The Royals are freaking good. The Cardinals are playing well this year.
Cardinals are having a good year. They're playing really well. Yeah. Actually, really well. They're playing better than they're over 500, but
and they were dog water last year, and so it's interesting to see that it's not as. It feels like that should be a bigger series than it is. Yeah.
The 1985 World Series. Let's keep going down the list here. Astros Rangers, so Battle of Texas. And then there's a few that are a little wonky. I'll get to Dodgers Angels, so Battle of LA. Angels Giants right here in the Bay, the Bay Area, Battle of the Bay. Then there's a few that aren't like Rockies Diamondbacks. I think just neither have been around long enough to it's just kind of geographical there. Braves Red Sox is kind of where they fell.
You know where that one comes from, right?
Well, they're both Boston Braves, yeah, the Boston original teams. I think I mentioned Phillies Pirates, for PA, and then the Twins and Brewers. Just kind of, they're both up there.
Twins are freaking good.
So yeah, man. So I'm excited, man. I think this will be fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun for a lot of these kind of in-state.
Hey, do you see records on that right there? Just looking.
Overall, I see their team records. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I was just curious. How bad are the Orioles right now?
Orioles are terrible. They're 15-27. And I was looking through some scores today. I was like, why and I haven't been locked in on the Orioles enough to know why they are so bad. Their lineup is pretty good. Offensively, it should be. I don't know if they're not.
I know Adley, the Rutschman, their all-star, catcher. He's on the struggle bus, hitting about 200 this year and really, really struggling. And it's just baseball is such a funny mental game. And they were saying that he's hitting 200, but as far as hard hit balls, he's like higher than he has been in the past. It's just like he's being played.
They're playing him really well.
Playing him really well. And he's actually had a higher percentage of hard hit balls than previously.
So you're right. Adley is hitting 200 on the nose right now. He's 28 for 140. Let's see. Ryan O'Hearn is leading for players who play. Gunnar Henderson's batting 268. Jackson Holliday 250. Mountcastle 234. Sed Mullins 232. Nobody's highest home runs is Sed Mullins at 8.
Which it shouldn't be, right? It doesn't feel like it should be. I mean, he feels like he's a 20 home run guy, and you hope him to hit 250, 260 and play a great center field. And,
just not getting it done, man. But it was, I mean, after getting into the wild card last year and it being.
Felt like they were one step away.
Yeah, they were in the lead a long time. So when we went to the Orioles game last year, and they were. I think at that time they were 2 games behind the Yankees, and there was some real excitement and just a really young team and seeming like, hey, only going to get better, right? And again, the great thing and the frustrating thing at times, I bet when this is all said and done, I bet when we get to 162, they'll be flirting with 500 again. I mean, because all you got to do is get to 500, and you can see a path. Because you got all the wild cards now, and if you can see a path, they're going to get there. I mean, but the Red Sox are better this year. Toronto is better. Obviously,
the Yankees are really good. Tampa's really good. They're in a really tough division too.
Yeah. So they're already 9.5 games behind the Yankees, and then they're the second worst record ahead of the White Sox. The White Sox are only 2 games behind them for the last team in the league. So
has Colorado had some wins because they were pretty bad?
Just AL.
Just AL. Okay.
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah. So
Colorado.
It doesn't feel like they're really trying with the White Sox. I'm not real sure what's going on there. It almost feels like the White Sox almost feel like major league team. Like, let's see how bad we can be to move the team, force them to build a new stadium, force something to happen. Because I can't hardly name. I guess they got a couple of guys that I should be able to name, but they don't have any guys, right? I mean, every team has at least 1 or 2 guys that if you had a better memory than I do, you could name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the White Sox for a long time. It was Frank Thomas and Robin Ventura and Blackjack McDowell. That goes back to our 90s times, but they're relevant too with Maglio Ordonez and Bobby Jenks and kind of that group there. I mean Luis Robert Jr. is probably their most.
That's the one I was trying to think of. That's the one I was. Yeah, and they just don't have anybody. I don't know. It's interesting. I tell you who else is going to be interesting because they've let so many guys go and. is the Astros. I feel like they let go. And again, you can't pay everybody. But, having Bregman up in Boston and then the other boy go to the Cubs, two big losses.
Kyle Tucker, yeah. I mean, those are two. And I think the Astros, from a development perspective, seem to have done better than a lot of teams, right? They were consistently like either wild card, winning the division, in the playoffs, making a World Series run. And then you look back and say, oh, well, how much of it was the trash cans and that sort of thing? But they've got some. They had for a while some real hit. I mean, that was a tough line.
Really good players. Hey, Tucker. Hey, one of the things I heard him say, I was watching the game the other night, and I thought this, but I don't think I've ever said that loud. But like Tucker, the way he's built reminds you of like a modern day, just how he's built, a modern day like Ted Williams, and
fluid, the splendid splinter, the nice and yeah, kind of rangy.
They actually brought that up, and I think it has to do with how long his neck is. Tucker has a really long neck, and I feel like Williams did as well. A very long, like if he had a normal size neck, say he's 6'4", a normal size neck, he's 6'2", I think.
Well, you remember like Ted Williams' bat stance, he was always kind of cockeyed a little, like his head was kind of cocked to the side.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Was he getting his face in there to see the ball better? Was he trying to get both eyes on it?
I don't know. It's interesting. I've had different guys talk about that as far as, having your head straight up and down. When I was going through, and I didn't have a ton of funks in college and pro baseball, though, you play so much, you forget, like, you do little small things that have such an impact. And so being aware whether your head's straight up and down or it's turned a little bit, it can mess with your depth perception a little bit.
Yeah.
I was big, and I didn't realize this until I played a little bit, but I was big into reading books then. And if you read so much, it messes with your depth perception a little bit. Your eyes get tired. And so, yeah, that was one of the things that just had to learn.
Interesting. Yeah. Pays to be illiterate, I guess, sometimes, just.
There's a lot of greats that were.
Don't read.
Sure, Joe, who may be eligible or is eligible.
No, he is eligible. He's not going in overall that. So when does do the PED guys start getting in now? Are we getting Clemens and Bonds and those guys in? I mean,
I don't know. I would say I guess there's 16 guys that are on this veterans committee, and they say you got to get 12.
Half of them were from the White Sox team from 1919. I mean, that's half of them. So I know Pete Rose.
No. I'm saying the people that make the decision. There's 16 total.
That I was saying the people who.
Yeah, so there's 16. There's 16 total guys that make the decision. So out of those 16, there's got to be 12 that say yes to get one of these guys in. And so I'm kind of with you. I don't know. There's too many people. I think if you really poll baseball people with any of these people, it's probably at best still 50-50. And a lot of old heads, dude, they're probably 35, 40% on Rose and probably less than that on Shoeless. And so I would say
dead for like 70 years. Nobody even knows what he did. Like,
that's right.
Like his numbers, right? Like, it's like I'm over it. It's like, for who cares at this point? Like, at least Pete Rose, like, he was around during our lifetime. Like,
I don't disagree. I did hear Shoeless Joe, though. Supposedly a career like 336 average or something crazy.
Yeah, great numbers.
I mean, again, different times.
His grandkids aren't even around anymore. Like his grandkids are old. Like, all right. Well, hey, congratulations, Carolina Hurricanes. Eastern Conference Finals on the way. Looking forward to some good rivalry ball this weekend. And you know what? Brian and I have our first travel baseball tournament this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds out. It's been chilly but clear here in San Francisco.
Well, you're going to get a balmy about 90 degrees when you get back. It's going to be awesome.
I've heard it's been raining pretty much every day of the week.
Until today.
And hey, also congratulations to the Garner Trojans softball team. Won their third round matchup. They're on to they're in the final 8 in the state, final 4 in the East. Got the big rival Cleveland High School game coming up, I think Friday night. So if you're in the area, go check that out. That'll be some good softball.
I like it. I like it. Out, go Pack, go Tigers. Tigers still killing it.
All right. Record. Stop recording.